Live, holy crap. Live. It's starting right now. I don't think anybody's watching yet, but you know. It always happens like that. Whoa, we're live with this shit. It's crazy. Viewers, people. I don't know, why would I end the stream right now? I should turn my lights on. I feel like I should hide it more. You know what I mean? Should I I want to make it more mysterious, kind of, you know? Maybe I don't want to show my books. If anybody knows these books, you're an OG. You know your shit. I have some other books over there, but I want to make it more secretive. Hold on. If anybody's watching this from the beginning, I give you permission to be a billionaire. Oh. Nobody's watching me. It's okay. It's okay. Could this fit? I want to put the computer on this, but I just don't think that'll actually work. Maybe it will if I put it on top of something. If I put this and then this, I think, or will it crush it? It's not that heavy. I guess we could use a painting. Okay, it'll be sitting on this, so if it falls, guys, you know why? I'm fucking live, dude. I'm live with this shit. You know, we're in the building with it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right, viewers, stay calm. Technical difficulties. Oh shit. It's so heavy. So heavy. It's so heavy. Okay, that didn't do anything. I didn't fucking do anything, dude. Fuck. Alright, whatever. Holding this whole thing. The monitor? What's the monitor? Like anybody said anything. No, the monitor is it's an iMac. Yeah. Let me get my reflection so I can show. I want to show. Okay. If you can see, there's the setup. Yeah. There's the big Mac I was trying to hold up. It's funny. But you know what? Probably nobody will come on here and watch right now. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna spit anyway. I made this for a reason, to get saucy, so might as well get saucy. Okay, so I have another thing on screen. I have another web page that I'm going to grab advice from. Let's see. Imagine, I'm asking ChatGPT this. Imagine you're a 15-year-old doofus that wants to ask 19-year-old wise dude questions about anything concerning his mind on live stream. Okay. I'm gonna answer your guys' question. It's not really your guys' questions, but maybe you guys will have this question. Somebody's gonna watch this eventually. I'm pretty sure. Okay, 15-year-old doofus, bro. So like, wait, why can I see the screen? So, bro, like, how do you even think so much? I swear my brain just kind of like loads like a bad Wi-Fi signal. My guy, your brain is installing its updates. Trust the process. Holy shit, that's crazy. Wait, AI said trust the process at the end of it. What the fuck are the odds that the video I was gonna post earlier says trust the process? What the fuck? I'm not making that shit up, bro. Can I show the other side of the screen? I'm gonna take a picture of it. Look, this is what just. Why can't I see it? Literally says it right there. Trust the freaking process. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy, but we'll just pass that like it didn't happen. All right. How do you stop overthinking at night? My brain acts like it's 3 p.m. when it's literally midnight. Yeah, bro, your brain just turned on. Your brain has been off. You were unconscious the entire day from waking up at what 7:30, 6:30 to go to school, and then at school you're just talking to your friends, having fun, having boring times, having good times, having bad times at school. All the while, you are totally unconscious through the whole thing. You think that you're just kind of moving, but you know that when you're on autopilot all day, that kind of feeling, that thought of like, oh, I didn't even realize I was driving until like I just woke up. Like that's you being unconscious, and that kind of puts you in a state of you think you're taking the actions when in reality you're just moving through your daily routine. So yeah, at 9 p.m. 9 p.m., 10 p.m., when you start kind of realizing, oh, now it's just the end of the day, I can do whatever I want. Like there's no routine for me to kind of be doing at 9, 10 p.m. because I should be going to bed. Your brain, your psyche starts kind of twisting its gears because it hasn't had any time to kind of have free form movement. If you're following what I'm saying, like your brain kind of was stuck on like, all right, next movement. What do I do from here? What do I do at 2 p.m.? Oh, go to class. You know what I mean? Your brain is very, very kind of in a structured timing. I don't really know how else to put it, but yeah, you're unconscious through the day. How I would solve that, of finally having like thoughts at midnight, is exercise later at night, so you kind of let go of some of that energy. Even I know a lot of people won't like that answer, but like if you've ever done late night jiu-jitsu trainings, or like any type of MMA, or like any type of cardio based training at night, you probably have slept so good after that. At least that's my kind of take. Yeah, exercise really, like, it's a bland answer, but yeah, it's the answer that's really gonna help you in the long run. All right, how do you know what you actually want in life? Because I'm built like a walking question mark. Yeah, definitely. I think we all have that feeling. I have a really good drawing of that, and I think some of you like that. Yeah, how do you know what you actually want in life? Yeah, none of us actually know what we want in life. You're just kind of going off your best guess. That's a short answer, but at the same time, sometimes you kind of do know, but it's an idea that you grab onto. It's never some like end all be all. Oh, I found it. This is it. Now, for some people, it is. Don't get me wrong. Some people, it is. Some people, Neil deGrasse Tyson, he was looking up at the stars when he was like 12 years old, when he was 9 years old. Like, obviously, he was going to be a physicist, astronomer. There are some people that just get the click. Einstein, when he was little, he was doing freaking 13-hour thought experiments at what age? What was it? He was like 16, 17 when he was doing thought experiments about relativity. What? Like, yeah, that's just crazy, right? But yeah, some people definitely can have that. Don't think like you're wrong for not having it. It hasn't reached you yet. So this is that. You don't know what you want in life. You're carrying the burden of not knowing what you want. Now, this burden can be anything else, but you are man, and you are forced to kind of live this. I don't want to say forced, because forced is really seems like you didn't want it, but you're not there yet. So any problem that you have with life. So this guy that wrote, "How do you actually know what you want in life?" has this burden of what am I supposed to do with my life? What am I supposed to do with my life? That's this for you. That's you. That's this for you. You're just carrying that. Now, most people fail at life when they say, "Oh, fuck the boulder. I'm just gonna drop it so the burden doesn't weigh on me." And that's when people go to Satanism. That's when people start dressing like pride. Nothing wrong with regular old gay people, but when you start kind of saying, fuck no, I'm not going to have the burden of being a good person. I'm just going to act however I want. You get pride events where they're peeing on each other. Sure, that's them dropping this boulder and saying, I don't have the burden. I don't have the burden anymore of being a responsible adult. I can just, and that's just one example of the many of people just neglecting their responsibility. But my good sir, the fact that you're asking, how do you actually know what you want in life? You're holding the boulder. You're carrying the boulder. You're on the mission to finding it. If that makes any sense. You're like pushing towards the answer. if that helps at all. Yeah, you're on the right path, bro. Quick little fun thing. But yeah, life is scary. It's unknown. It's uncertain. And we can never know what's going to happen. So you just kind of have to. Yeah, you're a walking question mark. All of us were at one point or another. We're. It's like an intricate design thing. So it's not always going to be kind of clear cut. Even when you have cool mentors like me. Why do I get embarrassed about stuff that happened like 8 years ago? So 8 years ago, how old were you? But yeah, we all get embarrassed about shit, bro. I think if you're living correctly, you're supposed to get embarrassed. I think yeah, I see some heads turn. Yeah. You're supposed to get embarrassed in life, bro, and you're supposed to be this kind of what is you type of person. Always keep people questioning what you're gonna do, what's happening, because that's kind of like the wave of spirit. Be in it. Don't. If you're being embarrassed after the fact, that's fine. You can work with that. Never be embarrassed in the fact. Like absorb transmute any feelings immediately. How do you transmute? I know a lot of people want to know about alchemy. Transmuting solar thought, lunar emotion, intertwine in alchemical process, you get idea. Now, this process happens organically, so don't think you're gonna like do it. You've already done it. You've already done it by watching this, by any action you've taken. You've already kind of alchemically created. No thought in human history has been watered without emotion. Like any idea that has made scientific advancements, any idea that has made literature sound more romantic, any type of movie or show that lasted years and made a legacy of cultural impact had drops had a drop of spirituality within it. Spirituality is really what makes all of it. But here, this is kind of what I was trying to get at by answering that embarrassment question. All of that stuff happened when people were in the moment of what they were doing. And sorry, I'm itching my leg. But yeah, all that happened from people just living in the moment of what they were doing. And how does this connect to processing your embarrassing memories? Dude, you lived a memory worthwhile enough of acting, of being being in the character that you kind of reincarnated back into. You have a memory of like, dude, how many people have memories of like, you feel like so icky and weird, bro? That icky and weird feeling is valuable. Think of it like if gold smelled like shit. If you had to hold a gold bar in your hand and it was worth thousands of dollars, but it smelled like shit, it's like you don't the feeling of the sensory input of this valuable thing kind of stinks. I don't like it. I don't like how it's making me feel from how it smells. But the shit's valuable as fuck because I can use it. I can cash this in and I can do a lot with it. That's the same thing with embarrassment. If you can handle the feelings of like stomach gurgling, remembering what you did that was embarrassing to yourself, bro, none of that fucking matters anyway. But like this is like for you, like you obviously want an esoteric message of how to get through it. You're holding gold that smells like shit. Embarrassment is so valuable because it's something most people don't have the courage, don't have the bravery to embrace. So if you can, dude, you said 8 years ago, you tell me again what happened, and because I'm curious, like, is it just some shit from middle school or like elementary school? Like, okay. Yeah, okay. So if it was high school, then bro, depending on what it was, if it was with a girl, if it was something kind of like with your friends, if you did something like in school, whatever it is, dude, that shit didn't matter. None of that mattered one bit. Like, you're fine. You're waking up today and you're walking, you're watching a video. Like, to kind of make yourself not have an existential explosion, even though it happened 8 years ago, I hope this isn't like that detrimental to you. Yeah, you're gonna be fine, dude. It's whatever. Transmute the feelings, because embarrassment is a very valuable asset in our cowardice and isolated individual society. It's a great way to put it. Is it normal to have 47 thoughts at once and 45 of them are useless? It's not normal to have that. No, it's because you have been mentally raped by your phone and mentally abused by algorithms that literally trap you into knowing exactly who you are. And when they trap you and take you in this kind of trance-like state, you're in a trance of watching videos that are so like directly towards what the things that you kind of like think about. So imagine liking a rainbow cat and seeing a rainbow cat, and you like kind of make like a huh, and the camera sees you make a huh, and then every time you do huh, it adds a rainbow cat after it, so you're like oh oh oh. You see how it's like constant rushes, constant. So 47 thoughts. You're lucky it's only 47 today, dude. How much do you bum rush your mind with short form content? When was the last time you sat down in silence for 20 minutes straight and you intentionally focused on just your breathing? Because when you do that, and when you realize all of the thoughts that are passing through your head are almost like fish flowing down a river, if you can capture that idea of every single time you start getting distracted while you're meditating, and then you start processing the fact that, okay, I'm just watching the thoughts go by. They're all just like fish in a river. They're gonna flow by. They might kind of try swimming back upstream so they stay where I'm sitting. If I just wait long enough, they'll pass. They'll pass. And eventually you'll reach a state where you don't even have to worry about them passing because they've already passed. And you're in like a state of just whoosh, whoosh. You're in a constant state of it just like soothing. It's almost like a lot of people think about focusing and keeping our attentions like a constant like when in reality it's little longer, and then the water keeps falling in, and then it just kind of like opens up from there. It feels like this for the first like 10 minutes, but the more and more you go, the more the gates of distraction open up and free flow attention comes. That's the main idea of great meditation, is that just you can keep flowing. It does take a while, but that's the idea. Yeah, it's not normal to have 47 thoughts, bro. Yeah. I mean, you know what? If you say 45 of them are useless, I would say just focus on the 2 that are that are useful. If you have 47 thoughts and 45 of them are useless, dude, sit down and write down the 2 thoughts that you thought were useful and just stare at them. Just fuck it. Just try that. Just do it. Bro, when did you realize you weren't a kid anymore? Because I don't feel like grown up is ever gonna download. Yeah, bro, everybody feels like a kid. Even adults feel like kids. There's not much escaping that idea. I still feel like a kid. I can tell you this though. I can definitely sense that I'm growing. I can definitely sense that thoughts feel more clear. Ideas feel less important. System operations are more functional. Certain pathways are more recognizable. Patterns are more recognizable. I'm basically just like describing what it feels like to have your prefrontal cortex slowly develop more and more. And yeah, it happens at a slow rate, especially from our perspective. So if you're young, it's fine, do as you will. Yeah, live life as a kid, dude. You don't need to worry about, feeling like an adult. I think practice like adult skills, like practice having a routine every morning. Practice like reading a book. Practice like small things that can get you. Practice the things that like don't seem like flexes, but like when you're in a rush and say you and your friend are going to the movies, or say you and your friend are going on a trip, and your friend is all kind of bunched up. He has his things over here, over there. He's not packed. He's not ready. He needs 10 more minutes. And you're sitting there fully ready, has everything you need, because you've been doing a routine for the past 2 years. You've been doing a routine for the past 2 years that it's like, all right, like when everything's said and done and we have to leave the house or leave the place that we're at, I'm fully ready. I have everything on. That's being put together, bro. Being put together is so important because, you can go through life just being a kid and like kind of being unserious and like nothing really matters, sure, but you know how much more impressive it is to be a stupid young kid and like and still be irresponsible, but you have your shit together. Like you you move with unseriousness and you move with like kind of just like letting life go by. But no, fuck that. I have my shit together. Like, yeah, I'm young, but I'm not a dummy type shit. I think that's the best idea to have. Do you ever just wake up and feel like, nah? Yeah, bro, but you watered the seeds of your you watered seeds in your sleep of total negativity, and it's really fucked. So whenever you go to bed, always have a really good prayer life. Always pray to God, pray to whatever supreme being that has creatorship over you, and pray the gratitude of everything you have, even if you don't, even if it's hard to find things that you're grateful for. Make something that you're grateful for and embrace the feeling of it, and express faith that you are doing God's work and that you are pushing towards evolution. Have faith in the higher plan and just express those feelings: gratitude and faith, gratitude and faith, gratitude and faith. And when you wake up, you should be in a neutral state, or you can be in a positive state. That's really good too. But you should always wake up in a neutral state. If you're waking up like, nah, we've all been there. So I'm not trying to say that this is wrong. You know, we've all been there. It definitely is fucked up that you wake up in a negative mood. It's just because your life has probably been surrounded stressful situations. You're probably sitting around. I don't want to say sitting around like you're not doing anything, because you can wake up in a negative mood and still be very active, which is the scary part about it. You don't want to run your day off those emotions. So if you wake up in that nah, I think that way, having discipline with changing that state of mind over having discipline every single day and getting in the cold shower, I think having discipline to changing your mood state is so much, especially as a man. If you're a man watching this, is so important, because nobody cares if you're in a bad mood. That's like the one. All right, the dude that talked about trying to get feel older. Being in a bad mood as a man is probably one of the worst things you can do for yourself. You're almost saying, I can't control how I feel, thus I quit. That's like I drop that I'm gonna drop this. That's kind of the still same thing, and that's really fucked. I don't think that's good then. Changing your state, it's hard, but it's simple. Find the type of music, find the type of creative outlets that help you feel better, and literally do them. Like, it's simple advice. Oh, feel better. You know, even when you feel bad, feel better. But it's kind of what you need to do. Don't think about it as like, oh, you don't feel good. All right, try these things. It's not that. It's like, dude, you're fucking up your creation of reality by being in a bad state. Like, you're not just like messing up what you're doing. You're messing up what you're creating. You're creating a life of, well, if you're in a bad mood and some years down the line you start providing for your family, what's the world you're going to live if you're in a bad mood but you're creating the reality? Dude, you're fucking everything up. You're building things from negativity. Bro, why do you think some families are like good structured families with 4 kids, 5 kids, and two a man and a woman happily married? Happily. Why is there a families like that, but the families suck? It's because the dad worked his ass off, good for him and to provide for his family, but he did it in a fucking hate work, but I'm gonna go. He did it in such a strongly negatively pushed and like disciplined, but negatively pushed. You just created a house of hatred. Holy crap, how wrong is that to do to like your family? Even though he did it out of love, he used negativity to create it. That's why the family hates him, and that's why he feels like, holy shit, I have the most ungrateful children. No, your children are just very observant to the energy that has been created, the energy that has been brought to make what you've created. So, yeah, to answer your question, do you ever just wake up and feel like, nah? Yeah, I do. But I change that state immediately and I never sit in negativity, even if it's like, fuck the world, I'm going to be disciplined anyway. No, dude. We don't run like that. Running like, oh shit, negativity is fuel I use. Yeah, use it as fuel. Use it to get the fuck up out of it. Use it as, holy shit, this state is making my mother more sick. This state of negativity of looking at the world like a piece of shit, it's making my mother more sick. If you have that thought, do you think you're gonna sit in bed complaining about that bitch that said some weird shit to you the other night? No. You're gonna get up and start meditating. You're gonna get up and start expressing your gratitude to somebody. You're gonna go downstairs and hug your mom if you know that you're gonna make her sick if you stay in that negative state. Dude, if you stay in that negative state, people in your life will start having that negativity too. And you don't want that. You want goodness to happen to your family. How do you deal with people judging you? Because my brain replays every cringe moment like it's a highlight reel. How do you deal with people judging you? Yeah, it's definitely not the best feeling, especially like when you're directly in school. I remember being in middle school and people would pick on me for, God, shit, everything, bro. I mean, yeah, bro, middle school is hard. Middle school is definitely hard. I'd say I used to play football before school, and I wasn't that good. I was really ass. It was apparent. It was kind of funny how bad I was, but I remember I have nystagmus, so my eyes kind of twitch, and that made it really hard for me to see the ball. So I was just ass, like I wasn't good, and I thought, wow, I'm not good at football, but football's cool to the people around me. Am I not cool because of football? Like I felt like, and all of this was fueled by people's judgments of me, like, oh, I'm bad at football. That means like if I'm bad and people see me being bad at football, then and since football's cool and I'm bad at football, then I'm not cool. Like it was a whole matrix of ideas of how bad it was, but it was like, oh, am I not cool? And I want to show here. I'm just gonna take a picture because I have it up on my wall, and I really want to show you guys because this is actually what helped me going through that situation. Basically, I was like, well, I'm not good at football. I want to try something else because I'm not good at football. But I was like, well, will people not think I'm cool because I don't play football? And I read this. I have no idea where I found it. It says, no matter what society says, it's okay to be like, and that's kind of covered, but it's okay to be like, not for me. And I remember the second I read that, something clicked in my head, and I said, oh, I don't have to think cool. I don't have to think football's cool. I don't have to crave that kind of thing. Dude, that was the most like enlightened moment I've ever had. Holy shit. Since that day in middle school, I think it was 7th grade, 6th grade, something like that. It was literally like, oh, I don't have to do what society says I have to do. It was so, I felt lifted off the ground. And I want that feeling for you guys. I think that feeling I had in that moment of realization was so blissful. I was like, I don't have to think it's cool. To answer your question, how do you deal with people's judgments? I think you have to have a realization. And you're not going to just have it. You know, you got to work for it. You got to continuously, and don't think I just like stumbled upon this picture. I was looking for insight. I was looking for something that sounded right, and I found it with that picture. I want you to find the same thing. Recommendation, go on Pinterest and look at a bunch of like esoteric or like just advice filled aesthetic quotes, looking through quotes is one of the best insight finders, like poems too, because poems have quotes in them. I'd say that look for a moment of realization, guys. Have this feeling of like, whoa, I don't have to worry about what people think of me. I don't have to worry about what they say about me. Because nobody, at the end of the day, too, when you keep looking at it from a more outside perspective, you're like, yeah, nobody is looking at me. Even if somebody says something about me, like it directly, if somebody says, oh, wow, look at that kid. He sucks at football. He's not good at football. He's never going to be as cool as us. Even if somebody said that to me in middle school, having the idea of, wow, this person that said that is so insecure within themselves, and it won't seem like that in any real scenario. It'll never see, well, maybe like in like really corny, like obvious performative situations, yeah, it will. Unconscious situations, but like in real life, when you're going through these moments of being judged by others, it never feels like that person that's judging you is like, it always feels like a social situation where you're like, shoot, this person is like trying to cook me. But like it always happens organically when it actually affects you. And when it affects you, it's one of the hardest things to realize, like, dude, this shit doesn't matter. Like, come on, just be yourself and do what you gotta do. How do you deal with the judgment of other people? Ignore those cringe reels, dude. What are you doing? What did I just talk about? Like, I feel like you guys aren't listening to me. Those thought loops that keep pressing through, those are demons, dude. Those are literally demons. Like, they keep flying through your head and telling you to, like, oh my god, you're so corny. You're so corny. Oh my gosh, you're what was the other guy said? He had 47 different thoughts. And you have replays, guys. It kind of sounds all the same. Like all of you guys have bombarding ideas that are holding you back from just like living how you want to live or just being. I think that's your cure. All of you need to be more. You all are thinking about what to do, what to be. I guarantee if I went to a party with you guys, if we were in a room together and I was watching you, I guarantee what would I say? Fucking nothing, dude. Like I would just see like people kind of thinking about being people. Stop being a robot, dude. Stop with this like parasocial analyze what they think before anybody, like anything of like thinking, bro. You know, we were given this to imagine, think like extravagant ideas, paintings, colors, architecture, design, building. Like we were supposed to use this for like engineering pursuits, loving pursuits. When you use it to analyze the fuck out of situations, yeah, you can be a psychologist for a second or two. Don't let that run your life to the point where you're not living a life. Like, don't become a 24/7 psychologist. That's one of the gayest things you can do for your brain. Holy crap. Imagine sitting in your room all day and thinking about being. Dude, go outside. Go downtown. Like, spin the block on a friend. And I don't mean that like in a. Yeah, bro, type shit. Okay, I'm gonna say more questions. Imagine I just threw down sauce. Because this is gonna be my YouTube library, bro. I'm going hard on this motherfucker. Alright. We're hyped in this bitch. We got some more questions answered. Let's just keep going, dude. Can I play music? I would, but I don't know if it's imagine bro, why does my motivation show up like at 2 a.m. but disappear when I wake up. Yeah, bro, that's definitely a situation that happens. Probably because you're up at 2 a.m. That's probably why. Yeah, if you woke up at 7:30 a.m., 7 a.m., and you were up at 2 a.m., yeah, you were definitely wasted that energy at 2 a.m. Motivation, because motivation isn't just physical energy. Motivation is like your fire. Motivation is that. Motivation is like it'll get you going. It'll get you going. But if you use it just to feel it, then you just waste it. It's like jacking off. You just like you felt it. You felt it go, but then what? Then you just kind of like it's nothing really comes out of it, kind of is a good way to put it. Go to bed early. I mean, if you have motivation at 2 a.m., that means that throughout the day you were kind of just on autopilot, just kind of going through the motions. And then at night, when your brain has gone through so many gear, like kind of living, kind of like shower, food, school, homework, go eat. Your brain has had enough kind of stop and go type of unconscious movements that eventually it grows some steam. And as soon as it grows some steam, oh, it's 2 a.m. So yeah, 2 a.m. motivation. Why does that show up but then disappear when you wake up? Because all day you are gearing up for that 2 a.m. motivation is kind of how it happens. How do you get rid of that? Go to sleep at 10 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m. But we don't want to do that because getting the gears started is so much harder than cashing out after they've already done all the warm-up. I think if you can find a way to make a routine for yourself that starts early in the morning and you get the gears going psychically in the morning, then you have like an edge of kind of consciously moving through the world, which is really useful. Do you ever stare at a wall and rethink your whole existence for no reason? No, I wouldn't say that I just sit in a wall and rethink my whole existence. I would say I rethink ideas, but my whole existence, yeah, we've all had an existential crisis at one point or another. You know what I mean? We can't put that off from each other because that's the dilemma of being human, dude. You know, you can't really put it in any other words. Yeah, how do I put this? I don't want to tell you to just kind of get up and do something better with your time, because sometimes we need those moments of like, why am I here? You know, kind of need like a conversation with ourselves to be like, all right, dude, what am I doing? And I think that's really brave in a sense when you're doing it as like, what should I do? Like, what should I do with my time? But if you're kind of doing it in like a philosophically horny state of mind, like you want, like you crave philosophical meaning, you crave satisfaction of a philosophical fantasy that like you crack the code with thinking. Yeah, like we've all had those ideas for sure, but you know, it's not the best to sit in those all the time. Like I really want to I don't want to give you guys these like bland answers of, oh yeah, dude, just just change your mind state to a positive one so you can attract more. Like, yeah, that's what we want, but when we're in these moments of rethinking our whole existence for like to jack off theoretically, it's not so useful. It's not so useful to just be like, think positive. Thinking positive got me to questioning existence. Obviously, we got somewhere with thinking positive. Thinking positive isn't always a kind of continuous incline of we're getting positive, we're getting better. No, it's a what the fuck is reality because I'm pushing the boundaries of knowledge. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's like that. Had to get my energy up. All right, next question, dude. You like gave you so much. Like, I'm not talking about existential crisis, dude. How do you know if someone actually likes you or they're just being polite and suspicious? What do you mean by suspicious? How do you know if somebody actually likes you? Yeah, they're giving you more attention. They're giving you more. They're giving you obvious amounts of attention, meaning they'll respond in a more intrigued way to something you say. The second you say something, they'll kind of like dart their head at you, or like you'll get some kind of eye contact. Yeah, sometimes people are just being polite if you directly ask them for something. So if you have the courage to talk to a girl, let's say, and you just talk to her for a pencil, you just ask her like, "Oh, do you have a pencil? Oh, do you have a sharpened one?" Like something like that. And like, let's say she laughs, like she chuckles at something you says, but then she just gives you the pencil. I wouldn't bet that she likes you. I wouldn't bet anything like that because like you asked her for something, you initiated something, even if it whatever situation, it doesn't have to be a pencil. But like let's say something organically happens and then she kind of or he kind of asks you something more like more in depth. If it's something intriguing in its own, I don't want to give you all guys all this like it's kind of like autistic advice, but it works, but like you're just gonna overthink. And I don't think overthinking in these situations is good. I think if somebody's looking at you, giving you eye contact, smiling, and like reciprocating the energy you were reciprocating, I think that's a telltale sign. You know, reciprocation, I would say, is the best. If you're sitting next to a girl and you kind of lean closer to her, but she kind of leans like this, that's 100% careful with how much directness you're giving her. Be direct when you're trying to and be direct when you're trying to explain like, oh, this is who I am, and be dismissive with how she reciprocates it. You want to be leaning back as she leans in interest towards you. Direct, dismissive. You're my girlfriend. Only at nighttime. You know, it's like kind of in and out, in and out, in and out. Why does my confidence come in random bursts like DLC that drops once a month? Because you kind of embrace the feeling of like, oh yeah, I am this shit. I am this. I am whatever I'm saying I am. The moment you embrace that feeling, that's when the confidence kind of bursts of like, oh yeah, I am the shit. I am the shit. And that's like a great feeling. But why does it burst? It's because you let those constant thought loops get back in and infiltrate the idea. Let no thought or deed betray thy own truth. Never let an idea that denies your coolness take you away from holding that confidence. Dude, that confidence is so special to to how you move in life in every single aspect. Like, fuck, dude, that's such a good question. Like, I'm TLC or DLC, I'm so glad you asked that question. It is so important to have confidence. In the moment that you lose it, I want you to identify what started that chain of confident feeling. Like what thought made you think, "Oh yeah, I am the shit." Was it that exactly? If so, say that again. And then once you identify what thought got you to feeling confident, what thought took you out of that? What thought made it so that saying I am the shit felt unreal? Like what stopped what like bitch ass girl from a party kind of came over and said ha 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 and got in your head? You know how many soldiers we have lost because some dumb bitch came over and said something that wasn't true and that was only meant to kind of bring insecurity and it actually worked. Like, you know how many good men we've lost because of that? We've lost so many soldiers from the insecure thoughts of others. I don't want the same for you. I want all of us to kind of have oh, yeah, thinking about that got me. Yeah, has my stomach hurting. Is it normal that is it normal to want to change your whole life because of one embarrassing moment? Yes. It is definitely normal to want to change your life after one embarrassing moment. clear, clear, clear cut. Yes, 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 it is. And I would say it's not a bad thing. I would say it's not a bad thing, bro. Don't think like you all right, it depends on the situation. You have to be more specific for me to determine if it's like, you know, but I would say, bro, everybody has that. Like that's why people change. I'll tell you that much. Like why does somebody move schools, bro? Why did some random people move schools like out of the school year? Like that's happened to you from one of the years of you being in school. Oh, why did they move? Why 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 did they move, bro? Think about that for any person, like one random person that randomly moved out of your school, bro. They did some embarrassing shit, and their parents agreed that okay, yeah, we can leave. That's with everything in life. Every single situation that's like gone kind of. You have a rational mind. You have a rational mind that kind of determines, all right, was this situation actually embarrassing? Was I just insecure and have doubtful thoughts about it? Oh shoot, it actually was embarrassing, like, even in my own, like, normal rationality, and, like, I'm not just thinking about feeling insecure and embarrassed. That actually was an embarrassing situation. Those type of things, like, you learn from that shit, dude. It's like it's the same thing of not studying for a test. You take the test and you do shit. You knew full well, yeah, this situation went down like this. I'm fully like, I have no excuse of how it went. Yeah, bro, you did some embarrassing shit. Change, bro. Yeah, grow from it. I would say just don't hold any shame. If you know it's embarrassing, you own it. There's no reason to kind of feel shameful unless you did something wrong to somebody, which I hope not. But if you're just embarrassed about what people think you, I mean, bro, you have more of those situations that you haven't thought of. I guarantee you, there's a situation you've forgotten about that people thought were more embarrassing. But look, since you forgot about it, that's not affecting you. So I would definitely say like grow from it as much as you can. Yeah. So we have about 5 minutes left. We'll end with a banger on this one. I want to pick a good one. Okay, this is actually a good one. Why does my brain remember the one awkward thing I said in sixth grade, but I forgot what I had for breakfast? So
you had an emotionally triggering event. In the same way, this dude that says, "Is it normal to want to change my life in one because of one moment?" You think about that moment years after, but you can't remember your breakfast. It's like the exact. I feel like this is the exact same person. Guys, solar thought, lunar emotion. When you connect them in the alchemical marriage, you get blossom the idea that you hold in your mind's eye. Solar thought is the situation that happened in 6th grade, and then lunar emotion is the feelings that attach to it when it happened. So let's say you peed yourself in the school field house, and everybody looked at you like you were standing, and all the freaking stands were staring at you pee yourself. Solar thought: I'm standing in front of 1,000 people watching me pee. Lunar emotion, however that most, you're gonna remember that. You're gonna remember that thing. And so yeah, that's how it happened. You connected the feeling to the thought of being embarrassed or whatever. Now, of course, you can't remember your breakfast, because that's what's clouding your mind. I would recommend, bro, like we all have situations like that, and I don't know what grade you are in now. Maybe that was like 2 years ago. Maybe that was like how months ago. Like I don't know how I don't know how long it's been since that happened to you. But if it happened a while ago, I would just recommend, like, you have to try controlling your mind now. Like it happened. Now, I don't want to say that, because if it happened not too long ago like that, yeah, obviously it would still be going in your mind. Um, Meditate more for sure. I'd recommend that. Not much I can give you, bro. I mean, why does my brain remember one thing? Like, why does it remember? Because you attach the feeling to it. I would say do something. I think this is a creative idea. Maybe try it. Don't hurt yourself, but do something so do something in the similar vein of how that thing felt. So, like, let's say if it was the example of you peeing in front of your school, find something as embarrassing, like doing something in public, singing in public, sing in your town center, and make sure people see you do it, and then see if that'll probably just sting as hard. New memory to remember, but you're basically breaking the chain of thinking about how it felt to have that situation from 6th grade happen. Break the chain of, like, oh my god, I did that in 6th grade. Yeah, you just did something embarrassing 2 hours ago. So what? You have bigger fish to fry. You have bigger fish to fry. That's the thought tab. You have bigger fish to fry, bro. Fuck all that. How do you stop comparing yourself to people who look like they got life on tutorial mode? Yeah. How do you stop comparing yourself? Realize that what's gonna come to you is so much fucking better than anybody else's setup. Know the good that's gonna come from your suffering. Know that everything hard that's happening to you is building you up for something so much more grand than whatever they got going on right now. That's the best way to put it. I think a lot of comparison comes from, oh, well, they have that and I don't. Well, yeah, sure, they might have something I don't right now. Who's to say that in 5 years, in 2 years, in whatever amount of time, I'm gonna have an abundance of that thing that they have that I want. So it has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with your lacking of. It has nothing to do with other people's abundance. It has everything to do with your lack of. When you're lacking and you see somebody that's not lacking, you're going to think they're the thing that's making you mad. No, it's the fact that you don't have that thing. Go out there, determine yourself to get what you want in life. Set a goal and strive for it, because there's no other way to get something in this fucking life. Set a goal. Imagine nobody's gonna help you, and you're gonna have to do everything on your own. Imagine it's gonna take more time than you expect. Imagine it's gonna be more expensive than you thought. Imagine it's gonna take more time than you thought that it needed to take. Imagine it's gonna be more challenging than what you imagined it to be, and commit to yourself. I'm gonna do this all on my own. If you can do that, dude, there's no need for comparison, because you're going to say, holy shit, if I just stay on this course, I'm going to be richer. I'm going to have the family. I'm going to have the health, the wealth, the love, everything that I want. Everything that I want, I'm going to have. And then somebody's going to be comparing to me. So let me just stop comparing right now and get to work. That's the best thing I can put for you. All right. It's been an hour. Thank you, everybody that's watched. Holy shit. First stream went crazy. First stream gone crazy. Nobody watched in the physical realm, but a lot in the spiritual realm. So thanks for watching, guys. See you later.